And welcome to this episode of The Fast Lane. In this episode, we sit down with Chris Korfist and Dan Fichter and discuss how they lay out their training from a yearly to a daily perspective, but more importantly, the why behind these decisions. Well, I'm big into and about when I'm working with a younger coach is templates. Like, here's how you set out a week of workouts. Here's how you're going to lay out a semester of workouts, just to give them a slight framework to start with and then build off of as they kind of learn more and get more experience. So way back when, your first year of either coaching or being in the weight room, being in charge of a weight room, what was the kind of weekly template you guys followed? Was it what you did? Something from a book or another coach? Was it bigger, faster, stronger? Bring us back to that.
How far back?
How far back?
I want your first year, if you could remember, or let's just say your first memory of, all right, I figured it out Monday through Friday. Here's kind of what we're doing. Where did that come from?
My first year, I was a GA at Northern Illinois, and we did Husker Power.
Oh, all right.
So the big dilemma was, are we power cleaning or not? NSCA was just coming into being a thing, and that was the debate. But we did an upper body and lower body split. We did 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 8, worked our way down to 5 sets of 2. You had the constant auxiliary exercises of 3 sets of 10, and that was it.
Okay. How about you, Dan?
I'm laughing. Right when I came out of college and I was trying to play pro ball, I was trying to get as fast as possible. So the workout was, I was very bodybuilding-like. It was cybernetics cybernetics with Franco Santarello. I don't know if you remember him.
Old Franco.
Oh, yeah. He would smoke cigarettes in between his bodybuilding competitions. But anyway, so it was that in the weight room. And then it was overspeed bungee cord pulls where I'd run a 40-yard dash at 4 flat. And my dad would take the bungee cord that we bought from the hospital things, and he'd pull me, and it was nuts. And then one time it snapped.
Did your dad have a cigarette in his mouth too?
He did. Lucky Strikes. Yep. So it was overspeed training before anybody thought it was any good. Like I was doing overspeed training when it was supposed to be so bad for you. And then it came back around, like everybody was like, well, it might work, it might not. And now we're back on why are you not doing it? So
I'm going to beat that story. I got from Speed City catalog from Randy Smythe or Smith, however you say his name.
Yes,
I bought the overspeed cord. And so I attached it to a goalpost. And I thought, well, if 40 yards is good, I'm going to go back to 60 yards and see if that's better. And I'm standing there, and I watch in slow motion the strap come at me, and you can't dodge it.
No.
And so I got hit.
Blob. It comes at you in a blob.
I got hit, and I got knocked on my back, and I get up, and it looked like a snake painted in red ran all over my chest. I had a welt the size of my chest from that cord letting go on the goalpost.
And then a while ago, I posted. Remember the shoes with the elevated?
Oh, I did those.
Yeah.
My dumb ass got those, and the next I thought I'd go run 2 miles with them. I didn't walk for 2 weeks.
You're pissing blood.
I did serious damage to my entire body.
Yeah.
Just so I could jump 4 inches higher, according to the advertisement.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So listen, if there's a gimmick or anything nuts,
I bought it.
We did it. We did it.
I love it.
Sure.
No, that's good. It's good for people to hear. Everyone makes mistakes as they're kind of going.
Plyometric jumps off a picnic table because they didn't make boxes back then.
Jeez.
Do you remember when we were doing the hanging from the ceiling one?
Yeah.
And Kimmy snapped her shins. That wasn't good. Listen, here's the reason why we might be better at what we do than most people is because we've done so much dumb shit that we're pretty good with what doesn't work.
Yeah. Hey, it's trial by error.
It
there.
Is.
Yeah.
Trial by injury, trial by serious error.
Okay. So you've made some changes, is kind of what it sounds like here.
Slight modifications.
Yes. There you go. So more into the templating and kind of laying things out. I want you to pretend that you both are coaching football in the fall, indoor track in the winter, outdoor track in the spring. right? Football in the fall, winter track, spring track. With that, do you guys zoom out and have any sort of yearly plan? Or do you go season by season? Give me ideas of what the process would be like. Let's just say it's August, right? And we're heading into camp for football, starting games in September. Um, do you think about the whole year with an athlete or a group of athletes? Do you go season by season? Is it all individual? I'd love to hear your thoughts there.
Dan, you do this for real, so you
Yeah.
start.
So with me, I take a look at my overall team and how I think they move. I try to group them. I'll train the offensive linemen together, and then I'll train everybody else because everybody else to me is a skill guy. But that being said, the offensive linemen are still running. They're still changing direction. They're still doing explosive jumping. But I would categorize it more as we are either in season or we're out of season, number one. And that doesn't even look that much different. The only thing that might look different in season is we add a little bit more recovery-based protocols to keep the strength we have. And what's crazy is the way we do it, because we do so many extreme ISOs, we constantly are lifting heavy and we're constantly keeping our strength throughout the season. We had a guy last week, he got his personal best on the bench press. And I don't ever go above 3 reps, but they have to keep that heavy weight on the bar just to keep the nervous system stimulated. And from an injury standpoint, it's been fantastic. Soft tissue, they're non-existent. So we do a lot of extreme ISOs, in season, out of season. We're running a lot more out of season than we are in season. However, we go to extreme amounts of effort for our acceleration. We will accelerate twice a week in season, where they're doing short sprints, some type of tag game, and we're constantly working on acceleration. Matter of fact, most of my team during the course of their in-season training, we do it right on the field. They all have a bullet belt. We have a bullet belt. Yeah. So they all have the belts on them. So they waste no time. They just get with their partner, boom, put it on. We do it during practice and individual. So that's getting their acceleration that's specific to their position. And then we do it in a group at the end where they're going through different acceleration patterns. And I'll tell you what, that's had a huge effect on my team.
Okay, great. And then just follow up on that before you could go here, Chris. You're lifting heavy in season. Let's just say you're week 3 and you had a PR in the bench press. When do you start prepping for that in the summer? Right, knowing in season we're gonna have game volume, school stress. These are high school kids, so they're not going to be sleeping well. Do you have to start? Hey, we need to start lifting heavy to adapt to that stimulus, so we're not sore in July. Do you start that later in your summer? Give us an idea there.
We're never far away from heavy triples and 4s, and we're always doing extreme ISOs. I think that complements what you're trying to do in terms of motor unit recruitment, being able to have a maximal stimulus, being in the correct position. I think all those things add to your ability to be able to lift heavy all the time.
And you said it this past Revolutions and Speed 2 clinic, where a lot of people are focusing on overcoming isometric, so they're pressing up into something, and you have more emphasis on the yielding, like resisting getting pressed down, like in an extreme ISO. So are you loading your extreme ISOs in season, or are those primarily body weight?
Primarily body weight, but out of season, yes, because I believe yielding gives you more options. Your body has options, and you always want to give it options.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. And then, Chris, kind of just to refresh the question here of football in the fall, winter track, spring track. What does a year kind of look like, or are you not doing that, and why?
Depends on who's moving through where. Because you have so many kids that move around, but generally speaking, if I have them both seasons, because in Illinois, track is 1 season, I would do like Dan, I would do 1 day of heavy lifting in season football, because I want to keep all my strength for the game on Friday, because football is really stressful. And every time you go out and play, you're lifting heavy weights and you're accelerating and you're sprinting. We might do on Monday some top end speed, max velocity work. But like Dan does, work on acceleration, because really acceleration is the key in football. But once we hit playoffs, I don't do anything. There's no lifting. There's no nothing. It's survival at that point. At that point in game 2 in the state playoffs, do I really care if you bench 245 or 235? It doesn't. So when you get out, I think the one thing people miss, especially in high school, is when the season's over, everyone feels like, oh, we could have won state. We're going to win state next year. We're back in the weight room on Monday, and we're going to go hard. We're going to go harder than everyone else. We're going to start building a team, and we're going to build a program and have a foundation. And give them a break. Kids lost weight. Thank God there's no bone density tests or anything like that post high school season. To see just how much damage we've done to these kids. Give them 2 or 3 weeks off. Let them get their body weight back. Let them get some body fat back. And then from there, going into indoor track season, that's when I would start doing some heavy isometrics, some heavy eccentrics, just to build up for what we're going to have to get into track. And then when indoor track starts, for me, it's all acceleration. My entire season last year indoor was just acceleration. Even though I invented the 23-second run, we did it once just for fun. We did 1 day of fly 10s. That was just on the first day. And then outdoor, where I have more space, even though I have a phenomenal indoor field house and I have a 200-meter track, 60-meter straights, indoor football field house, it's not until outside that I start doing max speed. Because at that point, I know I only need 1 or 2 good starters. And at that point, then we can work acceleration from a 2-point stance rather from a 4-point stance. Because then I got to build relays.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's when I'm doing overspeed. That's when I'm sprinting. And in track season, we don't lift. We do a couple weeks because we have 1080s, we'll do a couple weeks and work in various isokinetic stuff for hamstrings and hip flexors, but that's it.
And are you, I'm going to say, doing those more at the beginning of your outdoor season or all throughout, all that isokinetic?
Throughout.
Okay.
5 weeks out from state meet, we don't even do drills anymore. We just do our sprint workout. Because if I haven't corrected what I found necessary for you to correct by that point, I'm not going to fix it. I got to go with what I got and really focus on what we have coming. At that point, I either succeeded or failed, and throw it on the wall and see what we got.
So Chris you can look up Chris using 1080 products doing isokinetic hamstring and hip flexor work, but he's going to put together a product for sale on his Selfie now that he is retired. He's going to shoot some videos of himself and show the whole world isokinetic training, because that's what we need now.
Okay, I'll get working on that because I got to have something to do. I actually put together today a 3-block preseason track weightlifting program. I finished block 1 today, and with upper body training for sprinting.
That's what happens when you have too much time.
No shit.
Yeah. And where will that be available in the upcoming future here?
I don't know. It's my Selfie site. I don't know.
Perfect.
There's part of me is like, why do I need to sell? Why do I need to keep making stuff? I'm retired now. I just want to go watch birds.
When people purchase things, there's value to it.
God.
If it's for free, there's not as much value.
I saw a woodpecker this morning.
Oh, God. Norman, it's the loons. Oh, God.
The woodpeckers are making a comeback. There's a couple here in Virginia.
They're amazing.
Yeah. You're becoming your father. Stop it.
I found a red-tailed hawk feather, too. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I love that.
This is what happens when you're retired.
Well, when you guys come to Lynchburg, Virginia next summer, there are plenty of woods and trails around here. You could go hike and explore.
But I got to have my dogs with me. The dogs are the key part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they hunt.
It's going to be tough to get them on an airplane. Okay. So Dan, you kind of were talking a little bit about in season for football. So Chris, could you give us just, I know you kind of take the artistic versus the architect approach to things, but if you had to give a young coach advice of roughly what a week might look like outdoor track in season, pretend the weather is really nice, not your Chicago weather there. What are they doing Monday through Friday? Say there's a meet on Saturday.
Do I have a 1080 or I do not have a 1080?
Yeah, it's you in a beautiful climate. What are you doing? You have a 1080.
I have a 1080.
Yeah.
Is it early outdoor or late outdoor?
Let's say it's the middle of the season. Just
you don't have a
fun.
1080. You have a 540.
Yeah.
Do I have a belt with that 540? And does it have a Canuter valve?
2 of those Canuter valves and a flux capacitor.
Monday. Let's say we had a Friday meet on Monday. I would probably do a 60-meter acceleration at 6 kilos, and we might get 4 or 5 of those. Rest would be about 20 to 25 minutes. And I'll drop them off. If you come out and you run a crappy second one or third one, you're done. Tuesday would be off because at this point I'm done with drills and auxiliary and whatever A-word stuff you want, associate, auxiliary, assistive drills. I'm usually done with it at that point because I want them to get as much rest as possible. Wednesday we'll do overspeed, or we might do speed endurance. And if I have 2 1080s like I do, we will do a 60-meter pull with heavy at the beginning and lightening up. I'm standing at the end of that 60 meters. I hook you up to another 1080 that's pulling you back over speed. So now in a fatigue state, you have to coordinate in a fatigue state while getting pulled fast. And I'm going to release you at the end of the 60 meters, and then you're going to finish through for the next 40 or 50 meters and see if you can hold those body positions in a extreme fatigue state, because that's what happens in a 200-meter dash or even a 100-meter dash. People lose 100 and 200 not because they're faster or slower. It's because they have lost their coordination throughout their trunk and hips. So that's what I want to challenge.
So follow up on that. Is 60 meters still acceleration work to you?
Well, it will be if you're dragging 6 kgs on the 1080.
Okay.
Because you've got to keep the lean, and that's the magic of 6 kilograms.
And then do you feel, or do you know if that trigger release from 1080 Motion has hit the market yet, or is that still Chinatown?
Well, supposedly Simply Faster has one too coming out.
Oh, wonderful.
But I have nothing in my hands except the old one, which still works great.
Because I've seen something on social media, so I was like, oh, it's finally out. But
so if I don't have a 1080, I'm going to do, my Monday is going to be more of a block 30 or 40. And then my Wednesday is going to be 150s or 250s or something along those lines, a little speed endurance, just 2 or 3. With about 8 to 12 minutes rest. And then Thursday we do exchanges. Friday we have a meet. And we always start from blocks. So every day is a block day. Unless I know you're not going to be an open 100 or 200 person, and then you're coming from a 2-point stance. But if I know you're my 100 or 200 person, we're coming from blocks. Indoor, everyone's coming from blocks because I got to find out who my best starter is.
That makes sense. Yeah,
for my relays.
Yeah. So you were mentioning as you're sprinting 60 out on a 1080, you turn around, you're getting pulled 60 on a second 1080. You need to work on the coordination factors in a fatigued state. So it seems like the last couple of years you've put some emphasis on small muscle endurance, making sure that your stabilizers, your posture muscles, your glute mediuses are primed and ready for 11, 12 to 25 seconds of work. Am I on to something there, or is it like, no, don't worry about that? And then Dan, I'll kind of follow up with you there.
When you're sprinting, you're going to use what you're going to use, right? So it might be big muscles, it might be small muscles. And that's why I like to sprint in that fatigue state. And it's all fast because you're getting pulled back fast. I don't know if you're hitting your top speed or you're over 100%, but that impetus is to turn it over fast. And I think we all know when you're doing overspeed or assisted runs on a 1080, there's not a lot of room. People don't mess up. They're going to pick it up and put it down. And once it releases, that's when I really want to see how you deal with that change of speed when it lets go. Can you hold that? Can you hold that once I let go? And part of it, sometimes we'll do overspeed on curves too. We don't wear a belt. We'll wear just a loop, and then you'll come around to actually 150 back. And if you shoot it right from the curve, if you let go as they come around the curve, they'll carry that speed through the curve. And that's really what I want them to do in the 200. That's you either win or lose a 200 in the first 50 meters or coming out of the curve.
You could apply those same overspeed on the curve principles on the ice with hockey.
Yes, you can.
Just as a heads up there for all the hockey fans out there.
Because there are different muscles used when you run a curve than when you run a straight.
So Dan, hearing that question to Chris, when you're in season football, do you feel like the heavy strength work and the extreme ISOs takes care of some of the, we're going to call it coordination endurance for the fourth quarter there? Or are there other little things you're hitting throughout the week to help you resist fatigue and lack of coordination?
So for me, we take more of a neural approach. So if people at home are listening and you got a pen and paper, here's what we did last Wednesday before our Friday night game. So it was more of a recovery base, but it was more neural based. So we did one station, we had kids doing dorsal glides. I'll explain these exercises at a different time. Second exercise was infinity walk. So we're working on a dual task. The first one, the dorsal glides, more reflexive in nature for primitive reflexes. Then we did barefoot acceleration runs, okay, on the grass. Their feet are getting sensitized a little bit. We're grounding, and we're just getting all of that foot to interact with the ground, but we're not going maximal. They're just getting in good acceleration positions while they're moving. The fourth drill was a balance drill, 1 foot balance, foot in front, while someone's giving them a perturbation where they're knocking them a little bit. So now we're challenging their proprioceptive and their vestibular system, okay? And it's in high alert right now. So as we want to recover, we want to activate those parasympathetics. Your vestibular system drives that. Then just to keep strength in the upper body, we did rebound push-ups for time. And then our last one was what I call splayed walks, where we're in the grass and we are walking, spreading our foot as it hits the ground, just to make sure all of those intrinsic muscles in the feet are being stimulated, to force recovery and to, like, when you're running around in cleats that are like this on your foot all the time, it's just good hygiene for your feet. That was our 6th rotation. Right on the field, right on the grass field, all the kids working. We droned it. I'm going to have it ready for our next TFC or whatever we're doing, just to show them you can do it with large numbers.
Awesome. And then in a few years from now, Dan, if you need a good drone pilot, Chris might know one. So on your Wednesdays there, are you doing that in pads? And
No.
Are you practicing
No.
before, you practicing after? You're just walking out on the field, shorts, t-shirt, sweatshirt, that type of deal?
So Saturday when we train, we've got nothing. We're in the weight room, and then we go outside and we just do a walkthrough, and we're walking in the grass, listening to our binaural beats, all that stuff. Our midweek training is either some type of strength speed or a neural recovery. This week was a neural recovery. We'll do it again tomorrow because we're still trashed. We had a really intense game on Friday night, and those kids were not recovered from it yet. And
let's have a Raptor stream for Undercoy.
that's pretty weak.
Someone
I've
could
been
be
yelling at dogs all day. I have no voice.
So this will be another. I'll drone this one up too. It'll be very similar, but they're all
Where'd you get your
neural-based.
drone? Who's droning for you?
I hired a kid from the school to do it. He loves it. It's great.
Are
I drone every single practice and watch it, and we drone every single strength and conditioning session.
in the weight room?
No,
Okay.
when we're outside.
I was going to
when
say.
we're outside.
I love you, Dan, but please make sure your videos are not distorted where your guys are Oompa Loompas on the huddle
I'm sorry.
videos that you play.
Yeah, that was huddle. I got it some other stuff now. We're in good shape.
Okay, perfect. I need you guys to settle a rumor for me here. Is it true or false that up at Minnesota, Cal has a room just full of like rocks and pebbles to go walk in?
That's true.
Okay, that's all we need. We don't have to dig into that anymore. So over the last couple of years, it seems like you have both.
Hey, wait a minute. So back up. Matt Van Dyke did the same thing at University of Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who's now with the Houston Texans.
Yeah. Are they just going to Lowe's and buying some river rock? Are they buying some pea gravel? Are you allowed to share, or is this
I
behind
think
the
Matt
scenes?
was very selective on his, but if you know Cal's attention span is that long. So he has this idea to get rocks, then he just get whatever. So he probably came back with lava rocks, and everyone cut their feet, and now nobody uses it anymore.
That's probably
Accurate.
true.
Yeah.
In our Fastlane Plus subscription podcast, we'll go into all the details of how we laid that out.
That's extra.
Yeah,
That's extra.
exactly. That's the stuff you got to pay for. This is the free. All right. So you've both made a shift more towards acceleration, I feel like, right? When I first came across you, it was max velocity, it was fly 10s, things like that. Can you train that every single day? How does the nervous system handle that? When I think back to high school basketball practice, it was all out, maximal acceleration, accels, decels every day. So
I think you can train anything
is
every day. I think we're still stuck in Flex magazine or Muscle and Fitness magazine with the upper and lower body splits, and think that it's the nervous system. Your body doesn't know if you're doing upper body or lower body or any of that stuff. So I think you can train stuff every day. Now, if you want to save yourself, there's going to be a point where you're going to fatigue out and you're going to need rest. But if you're drilling things from a neurologic sense, like shin angles and positions, you can do that every day.
In the off season, we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They're sprinting every day. Every time they come in there, they're running hard.
So again, with kind of, I'm just going to word it as a year of acceleration focus under your belt. If it's been longer, let's just say it's a year. Do you find that some of your athletes still need microdoses of max velocity?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. They both feed each other. It goes both ways. But I let's say Dan drives his truck and I drive my BMW. They can both go 100 miles an hour, but I'm off the line better every time. He's never going to catch me. And I think that's the most important thing you've got to train. Dan, what's the drill, the really cool drill you do to prove that point at football practice? How do you set that up?
For the acceleration?
Yeah.
I got this from Tony Villani. I think everybody should try this, right? So you take your fastest kid and put him on the goal line. You take your middle of the row to end of your row, slowest guy on the team, and you put him probably just basically touching him out in front, right? And then you ask every kid on your team to stand where you think when the guy on the goal line starts chasing him, when he's going to touch him. Every kid will go 5-10 yards. And I'll go, okay, that's where you want to be. That's where you think the interaction where I'm going to tag that guy. So guy who's getting ready to run, who's the slow guy, he goes when he's ready, other guy's chasing him. That touch occurs no less than 30 yards down the field. The game's over. The game is over. And we spend so much time. You're taking a kid that can run. I have a kid on my team who runs 4 or 5 all day long. We did it with one of the offensive linemen. It was the first thing we did in the offseason. And all the kids were like, oh, he's going to get him at the 5-yard line, 6-yard line, 7-yard line. They didn't touch him until he got to the 35-yard line. And he's like a little meatball kid. He's 5'10", probably 240-pound kid. Great center for us, but he's not fast. He can accelerate, though. And if you react, there's no way you're catching him. So I show kids on tape all the time what one step of separation gives you. It's everything. So train it.
I had a kid here this summer. I won't say his name, but he's a 10-3 kid. Oh, this is not going to go well. He's a 10-3 kid.
Dun, dun, dun!
And I had him out here for a couple of days.
Is that the puppy?
No, this is Des.
Oh,
Des doesn't believe in personal space. She thinks my personal space is her personal space. She's my Velcro dog at 130 pounds.
Did you see her look at the camera? She's like, guys, get out of here, please. You're bothering me.
She says it's bedtime, Dad. It's time for bed. So I put him on the 1080 out on the street, and we did a 60-meter run. And, he's a 10-3 kid. I'm thinking he's going to hit 10-something, maybe 10-5. He didn't. He was 9-something. But he had the best horizontal force development and horizontal ratio of force than anyone I had. And he pushed out at 9 newtons per kilogram. And I said, Guy, that's not his name, but you've got to work on your max velocity because you're just winning rate. You're running 10.3. Des, come on. You're running 10.3 because you just out accelerate everyone. He goes, I know I'm great to 90 meters, and then I get caught. But he's got such great acceleration that he can last 90 meters.
And in
so
football,
same
the
thing.
game's over.
Yeah. So hopefully you work on his top end speed over the summer after I sent him with homework.
And for those that are just listening, not viewing this episode, Chris's dog from the Sandlot just joined us. He's currently sitting on his lap, and he's disappeared. He's hiding behind his dog now. So this is
I think
perfect.
her head's bigger than mine.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not just forced perspective. That's a large animal. So the kind of question I was going to ask next, Chris, is: are you still profiling people? Right? Like the 1080
What do you mean profile?
So, hey, you're going to sprint here, and I'm going to look at the force velocity profile.
Absolutely.
Okay. Even with all the acceleration work, like, are you caring what their max velocity is?
Yeah, I want to see the whole picture.
Okay. And are you still attacking first and foremost the RF max, the force per kilogram, newtons per kilogram, the tau, making sure they're getting to 3 meters per second on their 0 step, 6 meters per second by the 3rd step? Is that kind of just like the process still?
Yeah, because if you're not at 6 meters a second at your 3rd step, you're screwed. You're done. You lost. Dan and I saw a guy this summer. We worked with him for an hour. Nick Harbor, he's a wide receiver at South Carolina, and he was at 6 meters a second on his 2nd step in basketball shoes.
Yeah.
And he's a 10 flat guy.
And he's not small either.
No, he's 6'6", 245.
Yeah. Man, Megatron.
Megatron
there. And if somebody is lacking in that, again, if you're not familiar with force velocity profiling, just give it a quick Google to kind of know what we're talking here. But if the acceleration metrics, your RF max, your newtons per kilogram, which is force, if those are low, are you like, hey, your whole week is just trying to improve this? Or how often are you still mixing in velocity work, peak velocity work?
Depends on space I have. Those first 3 steps are really easy to work in a short amount of space. But like Dan said, if you're not winning by that 2nd or 3rd step, you're going to have a hard time running some people down.
And so, Dan, not having a 1080 yet, I'm sure it's coming. You're using timing gates. So are you doing any profiling or assessing? Like what does that kind of look like for you?
So we go 5 yards into a 10-yard fly.
Okay.
So it's a measure of an acceleration, right? And we got some pretty good data on that in terms of where we want to be. And then what I do is we'll do that and we'll give you a 90-degree cut off of that. So now we're working on, and I got this from Tony Villani. Now you're working on game speed, where can you run and still be able to change direction? Because ultimately, the best guys in the world, like I heard one of the wide receivers, who's the guy who plays for the Vikings, a really good guy.
JJ?
Yeah. He said, how many Hall of Fame wide receivers run 4.2? Zero. So the reality is you better be able to accelerate, and you better be able to decelerate, and you better be able to change direction and get in and out of breaks. So work on acceleration, and then work on, can you change direction out of that acceleration? And I'll tell you what, in the last 3 years we've been doing it, I've seen a huge difference in our football team making plays. Forget 40-yard dash times or, who's going what and clocking how many miles per hour they're running, but just making plays because they understand the game is played within 3 steps.
Especially at the high school level.
Yep.
I think
Like
if you can win that at the high school level, you're going to have a fast team.
Like we had a play on Friday night where 3 guys had our guy dead nuts, but they weren't reacting. My guy reacted first, and he beat them all down the field. And he's not a burner. He just can accelerate.
Did the announcer do the Raptor scream after the play?
That guy retired. He retired.
You got to bring him back. It's all about the Raptor scream in the claws.
We'll pump up the Irondequoit Booster Club. See if we can find the price to bring him back. Yeah, that's what it's about. All right, so this is the last question I have here, guys, and then if there's anything else you kind of want to get into. This one is personal for me. This was driving home from Charleston with a sweat on my brow this summer. So
I stopped sweating.
I sweated out. I didn't have any
I
left.
stopped sweating. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to stop at the gas station to hydrate, get a couple of gallons of water for myself.
Still incredible. I can't believe we survived that.
It's especially like you were not dressed appropriately for the South. We just word it that way.
I never am.
Dan wears that same shirt all the time.
What are you talking about?
Representing his team.
I didn't wear this anywhere near you ever.
All right, so a lot of acceleration work, a lot of strength work. Does your foot have to get strong in a different way to handle the forces of acceleration versus max velocity? Right?
No.
Our weight room
just a strong
isometrics. Okay. So
the stronger you get, the more you can hold those positions in acceleration. But I think it's easier to be vertical and hold those positions because you have a balance over your body and you don't have to deal with the lean. I think at the place in South Carolina, Revolutions, and made a brilliant point that we were talking about on the sidebar about lean and the importance of having the ability to lean and know how to lean to hold those to accelerate and to sprint, and just how much goes into a forward lean. I mean, that's part of what my upper body program is about can you lean and lift a weight? Because it takes, when you're standing on 2 feet, you've got a weight in your hand, there's a balance there with 2 feet on the ground, okay? And then you're going to push against the weight. So you're always looking for, your body's always looking for a tripod. The minute you lean in, you've lost one of those legs of the tripod. And all of a sudden, your hamstrings have to do a lot more work to lift the weight, whether it's a front raise, side raise, bicep curl, tricep extension, cable press, or anything like that. Now, if I pick up one of those legs while I'm leaning and I'm doing a raise of some kind or some kind of standing exercise, all of a sudden my opposite oblique has to become an anchor and becomes a leg of the tripod. And now I actually have to stabilize my entire torso to lift the weight. So that's my opinion as to why you have look is great in the weight room, but comes out in the field and sucks, is because everyone's perfectly balanced in the weight room. I'm not saying pick up a leg when you do a bench press or something like that. I'm talking about when you play football or any sport, if you're vertical, you're actually getting your ass kicked. There has to be a forward lean. There has to be an attitude, a body language of going forward. And we never train that in the weight room. We're always vertical, completely, feet wide, stick your head out to kind of counterbalance and lift the weight so you can lift more weight and things like that. That's why there's no carryover. It's great because you look bigger, and I know you got to armor up and all these other things, but really to be more applicable to movement in sports where there is movement, you have to have that lean in there. And I think Dan talked about it for 5 minutes, and Dan could have blown that up into a 2-hour presentation about the importance of lean and what exactly happens when you lean. I mean, just from a standpoint of body language alone, you see a guy standing straight up and down, chest out. Yeah, impressive. But you see someone leaning into you like the juggernaut, you're screwed. The guy standing straight up and down is going to lose every time.
Have you guys, Chris, have you seen the extreme ISO I do in the squat rack where we're leaning, we're on the balls of our feet in an acceleration position, and we're holding a push-up where they're pulling their arms back? That's a fantastic exercise. And the way I love it is your body's interacting with the ground the same way it's going to be when you're accelerating. Your feet are interacting in the ground the same way. And it's like a standing bench press. So you can actually get stronger in the bench press by doing that exercise. So instead of just doing an ISO push-up off the ground, we're doing it vertically, leaning into the squat rack. It's fantastic.
Are you starting 2 feet, progressing to 1, always 2, always 1 on that?
So we've gone to 1, but mostly it's 2. Mostly they're out just trying to get used to getting their head and their chin and their chest out over their feet. And that's,
I think it's as much getting your heart over your feet as your chin, because you start sticking your chin out. All of a sudden you've changed your thoracic spinal position, and now you're leading with your head, which means my thoracic body has to go back to counterbalance. I like to teach, I'm going to push my heart over my, my guy or my toes. And I don't know how much what I can say on this podcast or not when I'm going to get edited out, but you know what I mean.
Your hips. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to push my heart over my hips. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Just because then my torso has to pick up and carry. Too many times you go into a weight room, especially a high school weight room, you see everyone, they've got their chin stuck out, or when they sprint, their chin sticks out. What you're doing is most of your momentum is going backwards when you stick your head out. Now you've got your mass behind where your thrust is, which means you're going nowhere. You've got to get as much of your mass in front of your thrust as possible. That way, when you push, you're actually going somewhere. So whether you're Dave Weck going side to side, you're trying to shift your weight over that leg to press forward, or just standing in a position, you've got to get as much in front of the thrust as possible to get the most out of that thrust.
So I understand what you're saying, Chris. It took me a minute when you were explaining get your mass in front of your engine. Could you simplify a little bit of what you're saying? Let me try to help. So when you're sprinting, when you're leaning, you need a slight angle where your heart is in front of your hips, right? Try to explain that.
So let's start with
a
a quadruped first, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll go to a bipedal movement, okay? So in your dog sprints, because I spend most of my time with my dogs these days, front legs come down, they pull their body forward, rear legs come up, body's already in front, and they're going to push their entire mass forward. Okay, that's how cheetahs run. Now cheetahs have a hyper flexible spine, so they can do that even more. They weigh less than nothing. If you see my last, I don't know, social media post with my brother at the cheetah ranch, where people lost their minds because I don't know why, because people lose their minds over nothing. You'll see that. So when people sprint, they get too vertical. Okay, so if you watch the legs spin, foot comes off the ground. When it goes to push, they're generally pushing at about a 70-degree angle. If my torso is vertical and I'm pushing this way, where do you think the impetus for that torso is to go? Unless you're Michael Johnson, it's going to go backwards. So now you're pushing here and the top half of your body is going forward. The front half is going forward. You've just decreased your speed by 30%. But if I can put my torso in front of where I'm thrusting, so you're going to have a slight lean forward, so I push off the ground, my whole torso is moving forward, I have a better chance with momentum to accomplish higher max velocity speeds. I think we saw that this year. Rob Assisi, who's the jumps coach at HF and a colleague and a TFC speaker and all these things, he bought Swedish equipment.
Muscle Lab?
Muscle Lab. So he's got the Muscle Lab acceleration laser beam. He's got the whole thing, the contact grid and everything. And so we're out there one day and he goes, Chris, let's bring out the Muscle Lab acceleration. Let's compare it to 1080 data, because that's the kind of stupid shit that we do, because we have all this equipment. And we're sitting there and you have to wear a white reflector vest when you run on the Muscle Lab for the laser beam. So the laser has something to bounce off of, right? So we're standing there watching. My 10.4 guy runs straight down. The beam stays in the middle of his back the whole time. 10.8 kid, it's moving a little bit. 11.1 kid, sometimes we can't even keep the laser on his back. Rob's like, should I try to track him? And I thought, I don't know, Rob, it's your piece of equipment. I know. So they had so much movement in different directions through their torso that we couldn't even keep a straight laser beam right through the middle of them. So if you've got that lateral movement, you're going to have that forward movement as well. So I think I've kind of shifted into a lot of torso stuff just because I've seen with a laser beam going through someone's back, someone who's elite for high school, that red beam never moved off his back, but someone who's not elite, like for Illinois, 11.1's a really good time, but you see it moving around. You take 11.5 kid, he's coming off the reservation. You know, we're losing him on the red beam. It's like, I don't even know if that's going to record him because he was out of the red beam so much. He thinks he's running straight because his gaze is fixed at the point at the end, but his torso is all over the place. So how much of that momentum is moving forward and how much is that momentum moving side to side, diagonally, up and down, all these different directions? And I think sitting there for an afternoon with Rob watching this, it was an epiphany for me because I realized you've got to have this rotation through your torso and your hips, but your heart doesn't move the whole time. You're rotating around your heart. So I want to move my heart in front of my mass when I press and see if I can keep my heart in place while everything is rotating around it.
All right. Well,
Is
thank
that
you.
too much?
We'll see. Hopefully, the fans write in some questions if they're unsure of that. But no, that all makes sense to me. And I'm hearing it again because you did explain that at Revolution Speed 2. But I think that's helpful. I think that's a little bit more of a description for people that may be hearing it the first time.
I'm going to do a whole thing on it at TFC in December.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to piggyback that with the neurological aspects of it too.
So while you're here, Dan, how many are you in for TFC?
What do you mean?
How many talks are you going to do?
You tell me. I do whatever you need.
How many are you doing, Chris?
Same thing. Whatever you need. At least one.
At
Let's do
least
it
one.
that.
You want to do two?
I could.
So now I don't have to text you guys.
I could fill some time. That could work.
Two?
Yeah, I got one cooking
Now,
called Team Sport Dilemma. That's the idea
Good one.
there. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see.
I'll do 2 or 3. Whatever.
Remember, you get paid per talk.
Okay, 3.
Okay, 3. Got it.
Now,
I will
do you
speak
need
double
do you
sessions.
need does Tony need to find a guy too?
I
got a
to-
guy. I got
I'm-
a football guy.
What's that?
I got a football guy.
Okay, I'll take him. I was going to ask Milo to come.
Okay, great.
I
Are
just
you
want to
still-
hang out with Milo.
Absolutely. Are you still doing like football guys too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Who's your football guy?
Nick Caduti,
Oh, the Kadooties.
the Cadutster. Yeah.
I know Kenny Caduti
No, I
and his sister
brought
Karen.
him out.
Karen
I brought
Caduti.
him out to. No, that's the Canuter valve. I brought him out to meet Cal. See, Cal met him. He's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Is he
Dave
doing
Ru-
X's and O's, or is he going to do like
Probably
administrative
X's-
stuff?
he'll do X's and O's. Listen, they've played 3 games, 1,300 yards rushing in 3 games.
That's how far I walked this morning.
Seriously, that's ridiculous.
All right, let me see if Tony's okay with someone doing X's and O's.
Okay, if not, no worries.
Does he do like, oh, anyway, we shouldn't be talking about this on the podcast.
It's good hype.
It's good hype. It's good hype.
People excited.
It shows how we build TFC, that we start off with just people you want to hang out with, and that's who you invite to come speak.
That's perfect. Yeah, we've covered a lot of your upcoming product on isokinetics, isokinetic training with the 1080 products. You're also releasing a 3-month or a 3-block preseason track program.
I have a bunch of stuff that I'm working on. An upper body training for sprinting, which I really like. I have the art of the prime time, which I'm going to deep dive into the prime time because I came up with a really good combination that's worked really well in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm working on. It's just sometimes I just don't feel like doing it.
Totally
'Cause
understand.
why?
Go walk the dogs.
You're doing it for the young you.
Although
That's-
I
that's
have a
the
rule,
idea.
I have a rule retired. I won't turn the TV on until 8 o'clock. It's until 7 o'clock at night. I can't watch TV until 7 o'clock. So no YouTube, no TV. I have to do something. Try to.
Can you read
productive.
what time it is? It's past my bedtime.
It's 8:45 here, which is
Well,
past my bedtime.
There we go. Well, with that being said, any final thoughts from you fellas?
No, someone let us know if anyone's actually listened to these. We don't know.
Yeah. Put it on the tweeters.
Yeah, tweet it out. Put it on the tweeters. Tweeter it out for us.
Heart Dan's next post if
Yes.
you listen.
Exactly.
That's
Because
what
we're
we'll
talking
do.
about heart over your body.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Hard
we go.
over the body part of your choice.
So the new salute will be this.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Dan, who's taking care of your plants back there?
They're
You
looking
like
good.
that, don't you? John
I like
Benefit
the
Tipton.
macrame hanging them.
Do you like that?
Did you do them? Did you do that yarn work yourself? Did you go to the
Yes.
yarn barn and get the yarn and make those holders yourself?
I knitted them myself. Yeah, yes.
Awesome.
What's the glass jar?
It's full of water.
Oh,
I
I
drink.
thought it was like an
half
orchid
of
that
that.
you're growing an orchid
No,
an orchid
it's
of love to
water.
go with the koi.
It's water.
It's getting purified from the sun coming through
Correct.
the window.
Correct.
With your koi. You're going to get algae in there if you leave it there too long.
Oh, stop it. Here you got way too much time. I'm going to bed.
All right,
All
me
right.
too.
Again, if you guys have any questions from anything Chris and Dan have said today, and you'd like to ask questions for future episodes, you could send them my way. For that, thanks for listening to this episode of The Fast Lane. Episodes are available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Please share this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Reach out to us if you have any questions, or if there are any questions you would like for future episodes, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Chris.
guys.
You were awesome.